If you watch this channel, you know that earlier this year, we reviewed the Fives from Klipsch, and on the thumbnail for that video, I made a statement along the lines of you should ditch your soundbar. And a lot of you guys watched that review, thank you very much, and you liked it. And it's no secret that the Fives have become a huge success for Klipsch since their release. And I still have the Fives, I stand by that review 100%, but there is a new kid on the block from Klipsch, and it's a soundbar. So the question becomes, should you still stick with the Fives and ditch soundbars, or is the new Cinema 600 soundbar from Klipsch the better way to go? We're going to answer that question and more, so settle in, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and stick around because we are also announcing our 100,000 subscriber giveaway, and well, it's a good one. The Cinema 600 is the first of several new soundbars coming from Klipsch in 2020. Now the 600 is a 3.1 soundbar system. It comes complete with a 10-inch wireless subwoofer, which if that sounds large, you're not alone because it's rather uncommon to get a 10-inch wireless sub with a soundbar. Now this is not an Atmos-enabled soundbar, though those are coming, so you're not going to find any upward firing or side-mounted speakers here. The Cinema 600 bar itself features 3 discrete loudspeakers across the front. It utilizes 3 1-inch horn-loaded tweeters, a total Klipsch staple and a very iconic look for Klipsch, as well as 4 3-inch mid-range drivers. Now, the outer tweeters are visible, but the rest of the drivers fall behind the rather thick black grill cloth, which is not removable. But the ends are finished in a very nice black ash wood, and the right side you're going to find the speaker's physical controls as well as its wireless expansion ports. And as for connection options, the Cinema 600 has an HDMI port which supports ARC. It also has support for Bluetooth. There is an analog input and digital audio input as well as an extra subwoofer out, you know, if you need more bass. There is no mistaking the Cinema 600 for anything other than a Klipsch loudspeaker. It is rather understated, not to mention incredibly narrow, coming in at around 3 inches. But it's not the most stylish speaker the brand has ever designed, but the look still works for me, and it has enough visual interest that it stands out among the competition while not being too distracting from what it is that you're watching or listening to. The included subwoofer is big. It actually reminds me of some of Klipsch's other reference series subwoofers, only it is a downward firing design and utilizes a rectangular slot type port opposed to the round ones you're probably used to seeing. The fit and finish, not to mention build quality, are all excellent, though there are no manual or physical controls on the back, meaning the subwoofer is only compatible with the soundbar, at least for now. Setting up the Cinema 600 is easy. Simply connect the bar to your television via the HDMI output that supports ARC, plug both the bar and the subwoofer into a power outlet, and you are done. Seriously, that's all that's required. You can adjust some settings via the remote or maybe using the Klipsch Connect app, but for the most part, the Cinema 600's out-of-the-box or default settings are going to work for the vast majority of users. And while the Cinema 600 is incredibly easy to set up, it is basically a set it and forget it type system, you're still going to want to adhere to proper hi-fi and home theater setup techniques to get the most out of it. And this is true of the subwoofer. It has a 30-foot range, so there shouldn't be any obstacles to you being able to place the subwoofer in your room where it sounds best. And you're going to want to do this to make sure that the entire experience is able to shine. Quick word on the app, it's not finished. The Klipsch Connect app is very much a work in progress, and on the website, Klipsch is showing some functionality that, as of this review, was not available to me. Now, I have reached out to Klipsch, and they have assured me that updates are coming, but as of right now, it's very much a work in progress. Thankfully, the included remote is good. It's motion activated, fully backlit, and you can adjust the soundbar to your liking via the remote. Now, there is no text readout or visual display on the soundbar itself. It uses lights and a series of dots, which takes some getting used to. Now you can add wireless surround speakers to the Cinema 600 system, but they are not included. Now, Klipsch will offer a package in the future that includes the surrounds, but for now they're a la carte and they're going to set you back around $250. Still, you can add them at any time and it's pretty simple. Just don't forget to plug in the wireless transmitter. We enjoyed the Cinema 600 series with and without its surround sound speakers during our review period, where we watched a lot of television and movies, not to mention listened to a ton of music. And straight away, what I can tell you about what separates the 600 from other loudspeakers is its tone. The Cinema 600 sounds like it was actually designed by human beings with ears as opposed to computers that do everything by the numbers. And as a result, it has a soul and sounds like a proper Klipsch speaker. A lot of soundbars can come off as lean or forward sounding due to their reliance on smaller drivers, not to mention the subwoofer to augment their bottom end. And as a result, they have a frequency response that's a little bit more of like a smile-like curve. Bass is definitely hot and ripe, the mid-range a little bit lean, and treble is forward if not enhanced. And some of you may like this. It's not uncommon. Christy likes this type of frequency response, whereas I prefer something a little bit more linear. And this is where the Cinema 600 delivers. There are elements of the smile here, but it is far more linear and coherent throughout. Not to mention, it actually has real palpable mid-range weight. And as a result, there are aspects of the Cinema 600's performance when listening to music that sound more like you're listening to a pair of small bookshelf loudspeakers from Klipsch than a soundbar. Though, admittedly, I did like the sound of two-channel music played back through the soundbar in its surround mode, which engages that center speakers. I just felt that the sound on a whole was just fuller and richer compared to using it strictly as a two-channel soundbar. Now you can dial in, or shall I say dial up, the presence of the center speaker in the 600 bar itself, but I'm not recommending that you do this unless you're listening late at night at low volumes, or maybe you are a bit hard of hearing, because increasing the presence of the center speaker inside the Cinema 600 does skew its otherwise awesome coherence far more towards that lean side of the spectrum. But out of the box and in its surround mode, the Cinema 600 with music sounds like a proper pair of speakers, complete with a pretty decent soundstage with good delineation and spaciousness compared to the more directional sound you may find with soundbars in and around this price point. With respect to movies, with or without the optional surrounds, the Cinema 600 system has all of the dynamic, punchy, lifelike sound that Klipsch is known for, and while this is a smaller soundbar system, it sounds huge. And if I may, the subwoofer is incredible. It's not just a good subwoofer for like a soundbar system, no, it's a good subwoofer, period. It has all of the depth, detail, texture, and attack that you could want. Everything from kick drums to car explosions sound lifelike and organic as opposed to recreated. Dialogue, even amidst chaotic scenes like in Michael Bay's Six Underground, is clear and present, but more than that, it has a real weight to it, especially in comparison to other soundbars in and around this price point, and the high frequencies are extended and airy. They're not at all digital or brittle the way they can sound through other soundbars. And while the Cinema 600 isn't a true 5.1 or Atmos surround sound system on its own, it still manages to surround you. Now you can easily add the optional surround sound speakers to complete the effect, but you should know that as a 3.1 system, it is huge fun. And if you are in a smaller space or just don't like the idea of a lot of equipment or speakers surrounding you, you should know that the Cinema 600 on its own gets the job done. When you consider its asking price, the Cinema 600 really is the first sub $500 soundbar that I absolutely love for both music and movies, full stop. That being said, there are a few things that I took notice of in its day-to-day livability. But because the subwoofer has such great output, you may be tempted to turn it up too loud, or if you place it in the wrong spot in your room, it may be overpowering. So if you notice that the bass is bloated or overwhelming, know that a setting may need adjusting, or you may need to place the subwoofer somewhere else in your room. I can't wait for the app to be finished, as I just do not like the user interface on the Cinema 600 soundbar. That dot-based system just doesn't work for me. Thankfully, once you set up the system, the only thing that you're really going to be adjusting is volume. Just know that your user experience is probably going to improve dramatically when the app is fully completed. The input-output panel on the 600 soundbar is very deeply recessed, and all of the inputs are on one side of that recessed panel. And so not all cables are going to fit, or you may find that the fit becomes tight. Now, Klipsch includes all the necessary cables to get up and running, and this includes an HDMI cable, all of which do fit and work. But if you have cables existing in your system like I do, you may find that those cables become a little bit tight with respect to fit. Also, I wish Klipsch would have offered another finish for the 600 soundbar than just black on black. A walnut and gray heather grill cloth, like what they do on the 5s, would have been awesome. As far as comparisons go, let's just get into it. Should you get the 5s or the Cinema 600 system? Now, the 5s are more expensive, but you do get a few more connection options as a result. Specifically, you get a built-in phono preamp, which doesn't suck. You still get HDMI with ARC, not to mention a whole other finish option. But my criticisms of the 5s still stand, in that in some rooms you may not need a subwoofer, but on a whole, this is a speaker that is more bass heavy and as a result sounds darker in direct comparison to the Cinema 600 speaker. So let me address the problem this way. If you are a music first enthusiast, maybe you already have an extensive vinyl collection, and you're looking for a speaker to just augment your television or movie watching experience, then I say go with the 5s. But if you are a home theater enthusiast or a gamer that also wants to be able to enjoy music at a high level from time to time, then get the Cinema 600 soundbar system. In truth, I actually liked the tonality of the 600 system compared to the 5's performance out of the box. And I also like the flexibility of the 600 system, especially if I added the optional surrounds, as it enabled me to have a full Dolby surround sound experience. In fact, the only thing that the 600 won't do in direct comparison to the 5s is give you that true stereo experience. Now, compared to other soundbars in its class, like the Definitive Technology Slimbar 3.1 system, I actually prefer the 600 system to that one, as I found that the DefTech had more of that smile curve, where it was very rich in the bass, incredibly lean in the mid-range, and very hot on the top end. And I just preferred the more linear response of the Klipsch here. Now, compared to our other soundbar, the LG does a better job at throwing a full surround sound experience, especially with Atmos soundtracks and when you use its wireless surrounds. But on a whole, once again, I preferred the voicing of the Klipsch to that of the LG. Now, for those of you that watched last Saturday's video of the Name Muso 2, you're probably wondering, oh, well, does the 600 compare to that? Now, the Name Muso 2 is a complete music system, so it's not really a fair comparison. Plus, the Name's build quality is just otherworldly. That said, as a soundbar, the Cinema 600 system is better, and in terms of bass response, it just crushes the Muso 2. The Cinema 600 shouldn't be compared to soundbars like the Sennheiser Ambio, but I'm going to have some fun and do it anyway. Without question, the Ambio is the better soundbar. It just is. It's better in every way, save for one. I think I actually prefer the tonality of the Cinema 600 system, and that it just feels or sounds a little bit more organic and real to me compared to the crystalline quality of the Ambio. And I know that Christy disagrees with me on this. She thinks the Ambio is the greatest soundbar ever made, or that we've heard to date. And I'm not arguing that fact. It's just tonally, there's something about the Cinema 600 that feels right. The Cinema 600 really is one of the better soundbar solutions for both music and movies at its price, or really any price. It comes across sounding a lot more like a traditional pair of Klipsch loudspeakers than it does a soundbar, and I am including its 2-channel performance in that statement. I especially love its natural and full-bodied mid-range, and the included wireless sub is just exceptional. So for a sub $500 system, and the Cinema 600 is a system, it's really hard not to fall in love with it. So that's it. That is my review of the Klipsch Cinema 600 soundbar system. Before I sign off, Christy and I have been amazed at how fast this channel is grown and how much support you have shown us in helping us to reach 100,000 subscribers. And to celebrate, we thought we would do something special in order to say thank you to all of you who have helped us to get here. So we are giving away your choice of either the Cinema 600 soundbar or a pair of the 5s. So here's what you have to do to enter. First, you have to subscribe to this channel and like this video. Then down in the comments, you need to tell us which of the two products you would prefer and how you plan on using it or enjoying it in your own home. You must also leave your Instagram handle, that's your @name, so that we can reach out to you via direct message should you win. Now, one quick note about the comments. You have to do all of this in order to be entered, but what you shouldn't do or can't do not leave us any of your personal information. I'm talking about your email address, your phone number, or mailing address, as you will be immediately disqualified and your entry deleted. We don't want any of your personal information right now. Just which product you want, how you plan on using it, and your Instagram handle down in the comments below. Also, you need to follow me on Instagram at Recovering Audiophile, and you need to follow Klipsch as well. Do all of those things correctly, and you will be entered to win. Now, you have until next Friday at 12 noon Central to enter. That gives you almost a full week of eligibility to enter, and we will be announcing the winner in next Saturday's video. So good luck to all of you, and thank you again for helping us to reach 100,000 subscribers. So that's it for me. Remember, the only person that has to like the sound of your system is you. So happy listening, everyone. Thank you again for watching, and we will see you on next Saturday's video. Bye.